I started watching that when one of the football players that got killed right after the storm. And the next thing you know, another athlete got killed. Since 2003 to now, I have lost 28 football players.
Today, our partners at NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, unveiled the first of a series of reports that started working last fall. It's called The Children of Central City and explores the impact of violence in New Orleans on the lives of children. They describe the chronic exposure to violence as an often overlooked public health crisis. Lead reporters Jonathan Bullington and Richard Webster are here to talk about what they found. Hello, fellas. Nice to have you here.
Thanks.
Read over the two articles that are out this morning. I know it's a series that's coming out throughout the next few days or so. Just really chilling stuff to read, right? I guess explain a little bit about what you found here.
Sure. So we were awarded a fellowship from the University of Southern California's Annenberg Center for Health Journalism, and we wanted to look at what this kind of chronic exposure to violence does to children who grow up in Central City. And we were fortunate enough to get hooked up with this football team, the Ale Davis Park Panthers. It's the first year in a while that they've had a team, 9 and 10-year-olds, and for a couple months we just sort of shadowed them with photographer Brett Duke and Emma Scott, our videographer, and we got to know some of the players and their families, and learned how, as we say, violence in the home, in the community, is a regular occurrence for these kids, and it has very real and very devastating consequences for them if we don't acknowledge it and address it.
And what was striking to me is looking through and seeing some of the pictures of these kids. I mean, they're children. They're, like you said, 9 and 10. Beautiful smiles, so much to live for. They're out there playing ball, and you get a little bit of the coaching aspect in the story as well. But at the same time, some of these kids have seen the worst of humanity.
Yeah, and we talk about in that story, we have one young boy, Jair Lucky. He saw or came into his kitchen late at night and saw his mother dead. Another child witnessed a murder in the parking lot of Church's Chicken in Central City. And today we have a story talking about DJ Jubilee, Jerome Temple, who coached the team for about 20 years. And in a 14-year span, he lost 28 kids to gun violence.
He's holding up that image of the paper that he has with all of the names of the children or his former players who were killed. And that's really just breathtaking to just think about that. 28 kids that he mentored never made it past that.
Right, the point is that these pointing to what happened in the past shows what could happen in the future if something isn't done. And Jonathan wrote this great story about the school system, and then we talk about the resources that are available in the community, so far as like counseling, therapy, and state budget cuts that have sort of created obstacles to families accessing those.
Well, and then that's the next thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that some of these children, they live with trauma every day. I mean, you go into the science of it as well, the fact that their cortisol levels never are able to subside because they're always scared. That can actually affect the way they develop as humans, right?
So we talk about two things, like stress can be toxic to both the brain and the body, and a lot of the behaviors that children exhibit in school that people see as troublesome and then can get them expelled, suspended, can get them in trouble with the law, is a lot of times the symptoms of what is happening to their body. What stress does, it causes like memory loss, it causes stress, fight, flight, or freeze. It just creates sort of chaos within them, and that's triggered daily, like maybe a dozen times a day. And how do you basically function as a child in a school situation?
And as y'all report, the trauma isn't often diagnosed, so they get misdiagnoses, and that can lead to some other problems. I understand there's several more pieces of this as well that we can expect.
Yeah, we've got 7 or 8 more stories coming out through Sunday. They'll be online and in the paper.
All right, thank you so much, fellas. We really appreciate it. If you haven't had a chance yet, you definitely want to check it out. It's there right now on NOLA.com. Easy to click through, a lot of interactive stuff as well. Some just really striking numbers that some of these children have to deal with right here in our home. Thanks so much, guys. Great work.